Welcome, my name is Matthew from Kintripper Motorhome Hire, and this is our virtual tour of our Swift Escape 664 motorhome. Right, we'll start the tour by getting around the outside of the motorhome first. Here we have our freshwater filler. What we do have is a hose pipe, 6 metre hose pipe inside there, which I'll show you in a minute. What you pretty much do is just literally undo that, connect the hose pipe to the tap at the campsite. Most campsites have motorhome service points where you can fill these up to, and you just connect the tap hose one end and fill that up until you see water coming out the end. Right, here we have the cupboard, which is under the bed, which is good for storage. We have some extra storage in here. In here we have the hose pipe that I was talking about, which will fill up your water tank. We also have our electric hookup lead. Basically, you've got a male and female end. The male end connects into the campsite. You will then need to run the whole lead off because obviously it's a coil and it does get hot and can catch on fire. So what you need to do is run the whole lead off, connect this point. I'll show you where you need to connect that at a later point in time. We've also got levelling blocks. So if the motorhome's unlevel while you're on your pitch, you just drive up onto them and level your motorhome off. We also have outdoor seats, an outdoor table. We have the awning pole to unwind the awning, and we also have the drain opener. Right, here we have the wind out awning. What we do, you have a little hook there. We stick that into that little bit there. What we do is unwind the awning. To a point like that. What we have is 2 legs in here. We take one leg down, open that up and drop this leg down to the floor. We then bring the other leg out, do exactly the same, drop that leg to the floor like so. And then what we will do is we'll lift the awning up slightly. Then what we will do is we will unwind the awning out a little bit further. We'll then move each leg out with it. This saves putting too much pressure on the bar that's going across the motorhome. We then continue to go out again, forward fully. We can then put them in their place. And then what we have 2 pegs that can be pegged down through the awning leg, so if you get a little bit of wind, it will hold it in the grass. To pack it up again, we will obviously wind it back in the opposite way. A little bit at a time. Bring the legs back. So about a point like that. We can then obviously undo these little leg adjusters again. Drop the legs in. And then pop the legs back in like this. There's a little catch here that you just need to make sure they're pushed in properly like that. This is the clip for the leg to clip in. This obviously is important to get in before you wind it back up, else it won't wind in properly. You just literally pop it in there and clip it down like that. And then we just wind the awning all the way back in, like so. And then take the bar out. Right, on this motorhome we have a onboard wastewater tank which takes all the water from the showers and sinks and basins. There is an indicator inside which I'll show you later, which shows you the level of wastewater that's in the tank. Once that level shows full, again, like I said earlier, every motorhome or every campsite should have a motorhome service point. There will be a drain for you to hang over, and what you basically do is you get this large Allen key which is in from that locker. You literally drop that down and let the water run out until it's empty. Pop it back up, and that's that. Right, so here we have our gas cupboard. The gas cupboard has 2 bottles in. We always supply 1 full bottle with a hire, so there will be whatever's left in the existing bottle plus a full bottle. If you actually run out of both of them, you will need to top your gas up yourselves. Right, so gas should always be off, especially when you're driving around. So before you sort of drive off anywhere, you do need to make sure the gas is off. To actually turn the gas on, you have a little turny bit on the top of the bottle there. You need to turn that anti-clockwise until it's fully on. What I normally say then is press this little green button in, and that's the gas on. What I normally do is go to the gas hob inside, check that the gas is on, pull the gas through to that, and then obviously everything will be working. If you need to change the bottle, you need to obviously close the gas off, which is clockwise. We have a spanner here, which you pop onto the nut. This nut goes the opposite way to normal nuts, so where you think you're tightening it, you're actually loosening it, and the opposite way around. Then you can just take the hose off, pop it onto that one, tighten it up, and that's the bottle changeover done. Right, so here we have the electrical hookup lead that was in under the cupboard, under the bed. Like I say, you have 2 connectors. You have a male and a female connector. The female connector runs off to the electric point at the campsite. You run the whole cable off like we said before. We then open this cupboard here, which has your leisure battery in. The cable will tuck in behind there, pushed up onto there, and as long as it's in there, you can close the cupboard off again. Here is where we fill the diesel up. We send the motorhomes out full, and we require you to bring the motorhome back full. Obviously, any misfueling of putting petrol into the diesel tank will be the hirer's responsibility to get sorted. Also, one thing I want to point out is obviously, we've never had it before, but it has been done, is not to fill the water tank up with petrol, and vice versa, fill the petrol tank up with water. Again, that was not covered by our insurance, and that will be obviously covered by the hirers to get that sorted. Right, just inside the passenger door, I want to show you a few things here. Here we have the bonnet pull, so you can pull that, go around to the bonnet, lift the bonnet, that gives you access to all the engine bay and that. If you need access to the car battery at any time, we do have jump leads in the cupboard under the bed. Under here is where the engine battery goes, or where the engine battery is. Also what we have is all the stuff to change the spare wheel in under this seat here. The spare wheel is located under the motorhome itself. If you have any problems at all changing the wheel, because it's not the easiest thing, then you can get our breakdown cover out and they will change it for you. Right, now we've released the bonnet from the lever inside. We have a little catch almost central to the bonnet itself. Just flick that up, open that. The only things you really need to be worried about here is the oil. The oil we make sure is fully topped up before you go away, so you shouldn't really need to do too much here, but that's where you obviously check the level of the oil, and if you need to fill it up, there's a cap there to undo the fill. The only other thing we need to worry about is the wash fluid for the windscreen. Again, we make sure that's fully full before you go on your hire, but if you obviously need to top it up, it's just there. And then to drop the bonnet again, we'll just pop the arm down and just let it drop a little bit like that. On board we have a toilet. Everything from the toilet goes into what we call the cassette. On every campsite there will be a place for you to empty your cassette toilet. What you've got to remember is pulling this little green lever up when it's full, pulling it out. Once it's out, if you've got a little bit of walk to that point, you have a handle which you can then wheel to the point, because it can be quite heavy once it's full. Once you get to where you need to dispose of it, you lift this orange point up, undo the cap, empty everything from it down the point. Then what I normally do is fill it up about a third of water, give it a good shake, and then empty out again. Once you've done that, you can then just pop the whole thing back in its own little cupboard, make sure that's clipped in properly, and just close the door. So on the back of the motorhome here, we have two things we need to think about. We've got the reversing camera, that when you're reversing, obviously you can see where you're driving. That can be moved if you're not quite happy with the positioning of it. You just need to get your fingers on it and move it. But I normally set it in a pretty good position before you guys go off. We also have a bike rack, which can take up to 4 bikes. All you really need to think about here is just pulling it down, popping your wheels into the wheel holders. Once you've done that, you've got little arms that come over and grab hold of each bike. And that's that really. And then obviously just pushing it up again, you just got to make sure these are not in line with the arm, because it won't close properly. So just make sure they're sort of apart like that. And then just push the bike rack back up. Right, the only really other thing I want to mention on the outside of the motorhome is we have an automatic step on this one. We don't actually have this on the Chianti, but to open it up, if you've got central locking, you press your central locking, the step automatically comes out. If for any reason you forget to put the step back in, when you turn the engine on, the step will automatically go in. We also have a button in here which lets you take the step in and out. The only thing I would watch is young kids with this. They like to obviously stand on it and go up and down on it. It will break the mechanism, so if you can try and avoid doing that, that would be great. Right, the motorhome is central locking, but the only door that doesn't central lock is the habitation door. So you will physically have to put the key in to lock it and just turn it quarter turn, that's all it is, and pull it out again. And then to open it, it's just quarter turn like that to open. Go as simple as that. Right, we're going to go through the 2 power units inside the van. This is when you stop anywhere, whether you stop on the campsite and you've got your electric hookup lead on, or whether you stop in a lay-by or by a beachfront and you just need to have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or something like that. What we've always got to do is press the power button on. That will fire up everything in the van. Then we have a selection of switches down here, which tells you obviously if you want your cabin lights on, you need to press that and all your cabin lights will come on. If you want water from your taps and to flush your toilet, you will need to turn your water pump on. We also got a button where you can view your freshwater level and your wastewater level. At the moment it's showing obviously half freshwater and quarter wastewater. Once the wastewater is full, like we showed earlier, you will need to find the drain at the motorhome service point and empty that. We also can check the condition of our leisure battery. And we can also check the condition of our vehicle battery. We can also swap between the leisure battery and the vehicle battery. So if you're wild camping and you run completely out of your leisure battery and you just need a little bit, you can convert across to your vehicle battery, but do not run the vehicle battery down to nothing, as you won't be able to start the vehicle. Also, we have an external awning light here. Just press that, the light comes on outside for night times. If you're going off to the pub and you need some light, you can put that on and that will come on. And then you can turn that off. And before you drive off again, you always need to power this unit down. Right, here we have our heating and hot water controller. Again, this works off either electric or gas. So also if you're wild camping and you need hot water and heating, you would need to turn your gas on. Like I say, come to the hob, check you've got gas coming out your hob, and then you can go into looking at using it on the gas. If you're on electric mains hookup, I'd rather use the electric mains hookup than use the gas, because obviously using the campsites facilities rather than wasting your gas. So what we will need to do again is obviously turn the power unit on. We would need to make sure the water pump's running. And then we'll press this button here for about 3 seconds. What I normally do is set the time up on this first. So what we need to do is spin this anti-clockwise or clockwise, whatever way you want to go, and you want to come around to the full clock. Once you come around to the full clock, you need to press that button, and then you can set the time. So say the time is 10 in the morning, we pop 10 on, press the button again, and then set the minutes, like so. Once we've done that, we then need to go and choose what power source we're using. So like I said, you can either use gas or electric. So you turn the button again until you get around to the gas bottle and a couple of little electric symbols. You press that and you decide what you want. So you can have gas, you can either mix the gas and electric together, and on our UK campsites you need to be on electric too. So say we want it on electric, we press electric. If you want it on gas, you need to select the gas indicator. Then one across, if you want hot water, is a little thermostat that's inside the water. We need to come across that, press the button again. At the moment it's off. You can set that at eco, hot, or boost. Obviously the boost is if you want hot water quick. It's not like a combi boiler at home. You still will need to wait until the tank is. So I would normally give it about 20 minutes before you try the hot water on boost. So once you obviously decided which one you want, you just click it, and that's that. The next one over is the heating. So you just go over there like so. You press that, and it's like a room stat when you're heating at home. You set the desired temperature that you want. So if you want it set at 20 degrees, you just press that, and that will maintain the van at 20 degrees. Right, so if you want to set the timer up on this for your hot water and heating to come on in the morning, you need to come around to this clock down in the left hand corner. You need to press the button and then set your start time. Your start time is when the heating and hot water will come on. So if you wanted it on for 8 o'clock in the morning, you select 8 o'clock, press the button, and then you can set your minutes if you want minutes. Press the button, end time. So if you want to finish that at 10 o'clock, or 10:15 or whatever, just press that. You then set your room stat on your heating, so this is your desired temperature of the van. So if you set it at 20 degrees, you then need to set your hot water, so whether you want it on eco, hot or boost. So if we pick hot, click that. You need to select your power source, so whether you're on gas or electric. We need to be on electric too in the UK. Press that, and this is your fan speed. So the fan speed is for how fast the hot heat is coming through, because it's blow air heating. So you can set your fan speed either on a low, which is an eco, or a high. Pick that, and then you just set that to on, and that's your timer all set up. And then just come out with the back button. Right, here we have the windows. All windows come with a fly screen, which you can just pull down, clip in place like so. They also come with blackout blinds, which you can do like so. Also, all the roof lights and everything like that, they've all got this mechanisms on it. And then they just literally hook in like that, and you just unhook them like that. Here we have a cupboard. So if you're using both beds in the vehicle, this company is either empty, or we have the sheet and a mattress protector ready for this bed. Right, what we have is 2 beds in this vehicle. It's 4 berth. We have a fixed double French bed in the corner, and we also have a make-up bed, which is a dinette area. Right, here we're going to show you how to make up the second double bed if you need it. So what we want to do is take this cushion off here and pop it out the way. This table then goes onto the bottom bracket down there. So what we need to do is push that leg up, bring the little leg down, lift the table up, and pop it down on that bottom bit. And then it sits in a little ridge there. Right, now we have the table set up as part of the second bed. We then need to take these 2 cushions off. So we'll take them off and pop them to one side. Under here we have all the little filler cushions, which makes up the second bed. Inside our information pack shows us exactly where all these little cushions go. We then literally pull this out like so and drop that down. And then, like I say, look in your information pack and it shows you whereabouts all the cushions go for that bed. We also will have a mattress protector and sheet which we'll provide for this bed. Right, in all 3 motorhomes, this is the one for the Swift, but we've got this in every motorhome, so it won't show you all of them, but we have an information pack, and inside this information pack we have all our safety bits, which are all on board. So we have things like first aid kits, high-vis jackets, all the safety kits you need to know. Mine and Lisa's contact telephone numbers within this pack, a little write-up on the history of the business, how we set it up and all that. We've got things to remember before you drive off, stuff like turning all the gas off, remember to disconnect the electric heat, close all windows and skylights, and make sure the electric lead is tucked away. We've also got the height and width of the vehicles. We've got our penalty charges which are there. We have our accident form, so if you do have an accident, it's most important you do need to fill this out. This will have the details of yourself, the other vehicle, and a little diagram on how the accident has happened. We also have our breakdown cover policy there, so if you break down, you just phone the number that's highlighted in yellow and they'll come out and help you. Also got our insurance documents, and in the Swift here we have this second bed that made up. It shows you where all the cushions are and how they go together for this second bed. We also have some instructions on how the timers and fridge works, and we've also got our gas safety certificates and habitation check certificates in this folder. Right, to black out the front cabbie, we have 2 of these. These are basically have clips on them, and they clip onto each window, driver side and passenger side. So literally just clips on there, like so. And that blacks the window out. We have one for either side. I'll show you in a minute how to do the front blinds. And then just to take it off, you just unclip them and put it back. Right, to black out the front windscreen, we have these pull-out blinds. So what you have is a little pull-out bit. You need to just press that together to pull it out and come across. What we also have is this little bit that goes back, where all the cables and the arm for the mirror goes through. So you've got to make sure all your cables are tucked into that little bit, and then you've got a magnetic strip, push that together like so, and that is that blacked out. And then just to put them back again, you just literally unclip them and push them back in position until you hear that little click. So here we have the reversing camera. What I tend to do is use it as your mirror as well, your rear mirror. So if you're driving down the dual carriageway, you can see the oncoming vehicles behind you. And then if you want, you've got an on-off button, which you can either turn it off or turn it on. Right, one of the questions we normally get asked is where the handbrake is. I've forgot a few times and wonder why some of the hirers are sat outside the house for 10-15 minutes. It's because they don't know where the handbrake is. The handbrake is on the right hand side of the driver's seat rather than the left hand side of the driver's seat. And I don't know, obviously the wing mirrors, there's a little joystick here which can change your wing mirrors. Also, the 2 front seats are captain seats, so to work these, there's a little lever at the bottom of the seat which moves the chair backwards and forwards. Bring the chair fully forward. There's a lever on the side of the chair. You can turn that chair around and then set it in whatever position you want. The same can be done with the driver's chair, just exactly the same way of doing it. And then to put it back, just bring it all the way back and it self-clicks in like so. Right, once you're at the campsites and you've plugged into the electrical mains, there may be times that when you switch it on, the fuses pop up. What I would always check first is generally check the one on the campsite one first. Obviously, if the fuse is dropped, you need to put that one up. But occasionally, it can be the internal fuses that pop. So what we need to do is take this cushion off. We need to open this up, and here you have all the fuses, like your fuse board at home, that are all on the on position. They just keep them in the on position, don't turn them off when you finish your hire or anything like that. That just stays as it is. And then once you finish, just pop that back down and just pop your seat cushion back in, but generally you shouldn't need to go in there. Right, what we here have is the onboard fridge. This is a 3-way fridge. It's obviously a full-size fridge with a small freezer compartment in it as well. You have 2 little buttons here. You just push that down to open, and then to close you just push back in. For the operation of the fridge, dependent on whether you're going to use electric, gas or battery, whatever you need to do is you need to press the on button to start with. If you're on a campsite, I always suggest using electric hookup. So you just need to press the electric hookup on. If you're wild camping, you need to turn the gas on at the gas meter cupboard. You then need to press over the gas. It will self-ignite, and obviously as long as the warning button doesn't come on, it's ignited. If the warning button comes on, you need to press that and reignite it again until that happens. The battery is only there for when you're driving. So if you leave the campsite and you've got a cold fridge, to maintain that cold fridge, you then press battery. It's now beeping now because the engine's not on. It's just telling me there's a problem there. As soon as the engine's turned on, that will stop beeping. We also got how cool you want your fridge. What you need to do is just press that and you can go from 1 all the way up to 5. I would suggest probably 3 or 4 is probably enough. And then when you finished it, you're packing up and going home or whatever, you just press the off button, and that is that. All our motorhomes at Kintripper come fully equipped with all your plates, cookeries, pans, and all those sort of things. So in these cupboards here, these 2 cupboards here, we have the glasses and a jug. So it's big wine glasses or juice glasses, whatever you fancy. In here we have all our cups for your teas and things like that, all your plates, bowls, strainer. We even provide a small amount of tea and coffee. You've got cling film and bits and bobs up there. Here you have a microwave. The microwave can only be used on 240. If you're wild camping, you cannot use the microwave. There is a 3-pin plug in there. What you need to do is flick that down on the switch, and the microwave is just like your microwave at home. It works like that. Right, just above the fridge we have a little slide out drawer. That has all your cutlery in it. It also has a box of matches, just in case the sparker doesn't work on the cooker, which it does work, but just in case it does fail while you're out on a hire. We also have all your kitchen utensils in there. With the fire blanket, we have a dustpan and brush and a bin there that's already got a bag in it. Also we have all our pots and pans, grater, cheese grater and things in that cupboard. Down here we have all the cleaning products that you need to clean the van at the end of the hire with. We also have a gas cooker. This gas cooker obviously works just like your gas cooker at home. The main thing is obviously make sure the gas is on. Lift the lid, pull the gas through, and then flick the little igniter until the gas comes on. Again, your oven's just like your oven at home. We do supply some oven gloves. We also got like a pizza cooking tray and all your cooking bits in there. Again, just make sure your gas is on. Come to your oven point here and you can either go grill and spark the grill up, or oven and spark the oven up, and set it at your desired temperature. And that is about that really. Just close it up. The only other thing I want to point out with the hob is once you've used the hob, do not put the glass down immediately. The glass will shatter, so I would suggest if you use the hob, please leave the lid up for probably sort of 20 minutes, half hour after you've used it before you close it again. Into the tub. Right, opposite the kitchen we have another cupboard. Inside this cupboard we have the gas kettle. So if you're not on electric hookup, you cannot use any of your 3-point plugs. You would need to use the gas kettle to get your cup of tea. We also have a toaster, which is electric. We also have an electric kettle. We have a DAB radio in case you're out of a bad signal area and can't get any TV. And we also have a hairdryer in there. There we go. Stuff. And on board we have a TV. The TV does come on an adjustable TV bracket, so it can come out and go whatever sort of, it can come out to this sort of point, or it can come over here if you're sat around in the corner. What we do have is the TV remote's normally left in the front of the van. You will need to tune this on every campsite you go to, so if you're moving from campsite to campsite, you will need to retune the telly in. Right, before we tune the TV in, I would like to just point you out, this is the cupboard opposite the kitchen, above the kettles and all that. We have a little booster point. What we need to make sure is the little blue light is on. There's a switch above that you just flick, and that blue light comes on. Then what I would normally do is try and tune your telly in as it is. If that doesn't work, we then have an aerial. This is an adjustable aerial. You need to unscrew that point there. You can put the aerial up in the air like so and lock that off again. Then you have a little handle that turns it left and right and things like that. But a little tip, if you go out and check where everyone else is facing, just get this one facing in roughly the same direction. And you can also turn it around to different areas like that. Before you drive off again, you need to make sure the aerial's fully down and closed off. Right, here we have the toilet and shower cubicle area. What we need to do obviously is to get water out of the taps is, like I showed you earlier, you need to go onto the main power unit and select the water pump. Once that's on, water will then come out the tap. Also, the other thing I need to point out here, because people do not find this very well, is the light switch for the shower cubicle and toilet area is down there. Once the water pump is on, your toilet will then flush. What you need to do is, once you've done whatever you're going to do, press the button there, which lets water into the tub. Then what I would suggest, close this down once you've finished. There's a lever on the side of the toilet. You need to open it. Why I suggest keeping that in the closed position is you will get a slight splashback, which isn't very pleasant. Once it's emptied down into the container, you then pull that back into that. We also have a fully operational shower here with a shower curtain that will wrap around you. And we also have cleaning products in the toilet area, which consists of all your cleaning stuff and obviously a toilet brush as well, just in case you need that. Right, thanks for watching the virtual handover tour. If you have any questions before your adventure, then please ask.